welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is TennCare and the law. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about TennCare and the law, Professor Larry Woods, a professor in the Department of Criminal Justice at Tennessee State University. And of course, Attorney Woods, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you.
Well, Dr. Woods, to tell you how delighted we are to have you, because we are reminded that not long ago we had a show with you called Capital Punishment in Tennessee, and we thought that that was an excellent show. And I also thought it demonstrated your knowledge in terms of bringing the law, instances in reference to the law, to the public. And so that's what we'd like to try to do this morning, to talk about TennCare and the system of health, and the impact that TennCare is having, and what are some of the problems that are associated with that. But let's start off, Dr. Woods, by having you to give us some information about Larry Woods, before you became Professor or Attorney Larry Woods, and to talk about your background, your education, and some of that information. Well, and then we'll talk about TennCare and the law.
All right, that's easy. I'm a lifelong Nashvilleian, proud to be a Tennessean all my life, except for going off to school. I went to Emory University to college and Northwestern University to law school, and came back here to practice law. Started my own law firm about 35 years ago with my brother and sister-in-law, and over the years several dozen other lawyers in the Nashville area, and have focused and concentrated my practice on civil rights lawsuits and plaintiff's trial work almost exclusively. Do a lot of business law, which makes a lot of money, but it's not nearly as exciting or as important. I've dabbled and practiced and participated in politics a lot. As you know, Dr. Haney, I've managed a lot of political campaigns here in Tennessee, and as a result of that, I coached Governor Bredesen for his television debates and his campaigns, and that's gotten me focused on public policy in the state, required me to be knowledgeable about different areas of public policy. And the bottom line, I guess, is I chaired the TennCare Commission for Governor Bredesen, and have worked a lot in the TennCare area and become very familiar with TennCare, Medicare, Medicaid, private health insurance plans, and that's why I'm here today.
Very good, and that's what we want you to talk about today, Dr. Woods, because I think that all of us understand the tremendous problems that we're having not only in Tennessee, excuse me, but throughout the nation in terms of health care. And what we'd like to do today is to give you an opportunity to talk about the very, very beginning of what we might consider federal health care, and how that has blossomed into TennCare, and then some of the challenges that are there for TennCare at this particular point.
That's the way to approach it, because we need to understand the last 40 years to know where we're going now with TennCare. Really, federal health care starts with Senator Hubert Humphrey from Minnesota back in the 1940s. He advocated universal health care for everyone. He never got that, but finally in the 1960s, mid-60s, Senator Humphrey and others were successful in creating what we now call Medicare. Medicare is health care coverage and health care plans for those that are eligible for Social Security. If you're eligible for Social Security, either by virtue of your age or by virtue of a disability or a handicap, then you are eligible for Medicare. And Medicare is where the federal government creates a trust fund and pays hospitals, doctors, other professional health care people to treat and provide health care to persons who are enrolled in Medicare. So Medicare is universal for those above a certain, for the elderly in our society, and works quite well, works very well indeed. Once we started with Medicare in the 1960s, we then realized, you know, lots of people have health care coverage through their jobs or through their school, but many, many millions in the nation don't have any health care coverage at all. So we created on the federal level a second program, and that program is Medicaid. Medicaid was originally designed back in the late 60s, early 70s to cover the poor who could not afford health care, and to cover children who, by nature of being children, can't afford health care. And Medicaid has sort of grown here and there and yon. It's now got some 42 different categories of people it covers, in various status around the country, but primarily it's for those who cannot afford health care coverage, those who cannot get health care coverage because they're so-called uninsurable, and for children.
Very good. And of course, we're getting ready, Dr. Woods, for the first commercial break. And when we come back, we want to talk about TennCare in a real sense, as a person who has headed the TennCare Commission, in a real sense, to explain to us how we move from Medicare and or Medicaid to TennCare. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Attorney Larry Woods and